A very good morning to all of you. Let's start the revision of Business Studies chapter number 3 and 4 as your exam is there today in the afternoon. So we'll have a quick revision of the chapters which are coming in your MCQ exam. All right. So we are taking okay. So let's start it. Let me just talk about first of all the types of bank accounts that we people have, which we have to do. Types of bank accounts that can be opened. Let's see what are the different types of bank accounts that can be opened. As you know that there are 5 types of bank accounts which we can open with the bank. And these are, first is of course saving account. Saving account means that account which is opened by an individual and where the motive is of course saving the money. I'm just taking up the quick revision, okay? Where the motive is to save the money and bank gives various facilities like check facility. उसके अलावा we have the ATM facility, but the bank doesn't provide the good amount of rate of interest, as the rate of interest which is provided is actually very low. Second is current account. Current account is basically that account which is opened by the person, businessman or the business unit for saving the money and for doing all the transactions which are required in the business process. Here, the bank does not provide any amount of interest. 0% of interest is being provided to the people who have the current account. But there is one more special feature which is being given to current account holder, that is the overdraft facility, which means even if they are having less amount in the bank account, they can still do the transaction and they can make the payment from the overdraft which have been provided to them by the bank account. The third type of bank account which they can open, which we can open with the bank is of course fixed deposits. Fixed deposits. Now, fixed deposits are basically that deposit which we can, open with the bank for a fixed period of time. For a fixed period of time. Why it is for the fixed period of time? Because ultimately, if I want to make a deposit for almost 10 years, so I have made a deposit of rupees 2 lakhs for 10 years with the bank. Now that money I have provided to the bank. Do you think the bank is going to give any check facility? No, bank is not going to give any check facility. Bank is not giving any ATM facility. Unless, bank, what will bank will do? Bank will keep that amount with itself for the fixed period of time. You cannot withdraw it. But if you want to withdraw some of the amount would not be withdrawn. You have to break the complete FD. आपको पूरा FD तोड़ना पड़ेगा and your money will be given back to you. But उतना interest नहीं मिलेगा if you are breaking it before maturity. So you will not be getting the expected rate of return which was required. The fourth which you can open with the bank is of course a recurring deposit account. Recurring deposits. Recurring deposits means those deposits where you are ultimately going to deposit that money for a fixed period of time, but it is just like, for example, if I say that for 3 years I want to make a deposit of rupees 5,000 per month. That means for the complete 3 years you have to make the payment of 5,000 per month. It is basically there to improve your savings habit. But one point, no, you cannot withdraw the amount from recurring deposit. So what if I need the money in between? What I will do? The bank will provide you the loan facility against that recurring deposit, but the bank is not going to give you any, withdrawal of such amount. And if I talk about the interest, a good rate of interest, good amount of interest is also being provided to the bank by the bank to the customer. And last is mods. Mods is ultimately multiple option deposit scheme. That is a option, multiple option deposits scheme. Now, multiple option deposit scheme is basically that fifth type of bank account which possess the qualities of the two different accounts. That is saving also and well as fixed deposit also. Up to a threshold limit which is being decided by the bank, the amount which is there with the bank account, that will be the saving account. But if that amount exceeds the threshold limit, the extra amount will automatically become the fixed deposit, which means this is type of account where you will get the benefits of the two accounts together. That is why it is known as multiple option deposit scheme. Okay? Now, after the types of bank account, let us study that what are the different e-banking services. Let's see what are the different e-banking services. तो एक बार हम पढ़ते हैं. Different e मतलब इलेक्ट्रॉनिक बैंकिंग सर्विसेज जो बैंक्स हमें प्रोवाइड करता है. लेट्स सी कौन कौन सी वो सर्विसेज हैं which banks provide us. Like the first is of course NEFT. NEFT का full form you all know. Net Electronic Fund Transfer. Fund transfer. ये बेटे this is for the amount which is less than the 2 lakh rupees. You go to the bank, fill the form for the NEFT. If the amount doesn't exceed rupees 2 lakh, you can get it transferred to the other bank account through NEFT. The bank will charge a little bit amount from you, maybe 0% charges, or maybe bank might charge a little bit amount from you, but you have to wait for 1 to 3 days, 1 working day to 3 working days to get it transferred. The second is RTGS. RTGS is real-time gross settlement. Now, real-time gross settlement is the next e-banking service given by the banks. If the amount you want to transfer to the other account exceeds rupees 2 lakhs, then there is an option, real-time gross settlement, RTGS. Through RTGS, you can get it transferred to the other bank account. And one more thing here, it is done on the real-time basis. Real-time matlab once you submit the application or the form to the bank to actually get it transferred, the bank will start it processing at the same time. You don't have to wait. Hardly within 2 to 3 hours, your amount would be transferred to the other party's account. That is through RTGS. इसके अलावा we have of course ATM facility. ATM facility is also the e-banking facility. ATM is known as automated teller machine. Now, automated teller machine is of course the ATM facility given to people. And you know, this ATM or automated teller machine facility, this is basically that machine, that facility where we simply say that 24/7 you can withdraw your amount from the ATM machine. You can even this time though you can deposit also in your bank kiosk through the ATM machine because they have the facility of taking money back also along with the withdrawal. Even you can transfer the money also from ATM to different types of accounts, to different accounts of the same branch. But ठीक है, इसके अलावा we have POS. POS is basically a point of sales machine. This is basically for the swiping of your card through POS, where you swipe the card whenever you go for the shopping. Suppose we are going to market to purchase any clothes, so we can just get it swiped even at the petrol pumps also, and even everywhere now. Through the merchant, you can easily swipe up your card, and you can easily avail the service of getting the transaction done, doing the transaction online. Fifth yours is debit cards. But debit cards are the fifth basically facility given to you, issued by the bank. But the main specialty is if you have the account amount in your bank account, then only you would be able to use it, right? Suppose if I have the amount in my bank account, then only I will be able to use the debit card. Otherwise, I can't use the debit card. I will only be using the debit card if I have the amount in my bank account. Same way, we have the credit cards. Credit cards are basically those cards which are in one way they are the loan cards given to the customers, and you can use these cards even if you don't have your amount in your bank account. You can use it. The credit card, you can make use of this card for the payment. But make sure if you are using this card for making any kind of payment, तो बेटे आपको एक चीज ये ध्यान रखनी पड़ेगी कि पेमेंट करने के लिए if you are using this credit card, so later on you have to give the interest also to the bank on the credit card. ठीक है? Then we have Aadhaar linked payments. Aadhaar linked payments, और इसको हम बोल देते हैं नेट बैंकिंग, और वी कैन से मोबाइल बैंकिंग. ये सब आपका ऑनलाइन सिस्टम है फॉर basically providing the banking transactions. Now let's see the next question. I'm just taking up only the important questions. Now let's see the next question. The next I'm talking about here is principles, different principles of insurance. Let's see what are the different principles of insurance. But the very first principle is, of course, principle of utmost good faith. Utmost good faith का मतलब यहाँ पे simple बेटे निकल के आता है. That utmost good faith is that whenever you are going to make any insurance contract, you have to definitely, provide the complete material facts which are related to your insurance contract, whether that is the insurer or the insured. Both of them have to actually provide the complete view that if they are going to enter into the contract, insurance contract, then definitely it is required that all the material facts related to the insurance must be disclosed even by the insurer and also by the insured. Because if the insured doesn't disclose any material fact in that insurance policy before that insurance contract, then definitely it will become void, and the insurance company will not be providing any claim to the concerned person. So definitely there is a requirement to provide the complete insurance material fact related to the insurance to the ultimate person or to the ultimate insured who is getting the insurance. After utmost good faith, the second is insurable interest, principle of insurable interest. At the time of taking the insurance, you must be having the insurable interest. Then only you will be able to get the insurance. For example, it's not that I can get the factory of my neighbor, get it insured, and I'll be taking the claim. It's not possible at all. You must have some relation with that property for which you are taking the insurance. Next is principle of subrogation. When we talk about principle of subrogation, we actually talk about that principle of subrogation says that there must be a proper, after making the payment of the contract by the person. Suppose if one person has made the contract already, availed the contract from the company, then definitely subrogation, according to subrogation principle, there must be a proper thing that if the insurance company has already given the contract, and afterwards if any particular thing is being achieved by the insurance company, for example the car was lost, the insurance company has already given the claim, but afterwards, after some time, the car was again found. Now the car belongs to the insurance company. Why? Because insurance company has already settled your claim before, right? And when insurance company has already settled your claim before, then uh, definitely it belongs to your perspective, your point, that when it is already settled, so you have to give that particular thing back to the insurance company. Then insurance of indemnity, principle of indemnity. So let's see what is there in the indemnity principle. But a indemnity principle is basically that principle where we simply say that the policy amount or the actual loss, whichever is lower, that will be provided to you. The policy amount or the actual loss, whichever is lower. For example, I got the policy of rupees 10 lakhs, but the loss actually occurred for only 6 lakhs. So what do you think? Definitely, I will be receiving only 6 lakhs. I will be receiving only 6 lakhs and not the 10 lakhs. Then principle of contribution. The next is principle of contribution. Principle of contribution means that if you have taken the insurance from two different companies, then according to principle of contribution, you will definitely get the claim settled equally or in the decided ratio of the premium. It's not that you will be taking the claim separately from both the companies. No. What you will be getting is you will be getting the claim done in decided ratio or equally through principle of contribution. Then next is principle of causa proxima, या proximate cause. Principle of proximate cause or causa proxima. So this is the sixth principle, the principle of proximate cause or causa proxima. Actually ये जो है आपका प्रिंसिपल ऑफ प्रॉक्सिमेट कॉज या कॉजा प्रॉक्सिमा, ये बेटे वो प्रिंसिपल है जिसमें हम सीधा बोलते हैं दैट प्रॉक्सिमेट कॉज या कॉजा प्रॉक्सिमा is ultimately that principle. Accordingly, you will be getting the claim only and only in the case, if your loss has been occurred due to the main cause for what it was registered. If you think that the main cause for what it was registered, you are not getting the the loss is not has been arrived due to the main cause जिसके लिए वो registered हुआ था, in that case definitely उसमें नहीं होगा, यानी कि आपको वो नहीं मिलेगा जिसके अंदर अगर मेन कॉज की वजह से नहीं मिला. ठीक, तो ultimately you have to see to it that if whenever we say that the main cause, if the thing has been done with the main cause, then only you will be getting the insurance. If the loss has been arrived due to the other cause, then you will not get any insurance claim. And last is mitigation, principle of mitigation of loss. Mitigation of loss means the insured party must have to take some steps to reduce the loss. इंश्योर्ड पार्टी को बेटे कुछ स्टेप जरूर लेने चाहिए लॉस को कम करने के लिए, लॉस को रिड्यूस करने के लिए. अगर इंश्योर्ड पार्टी लॉस को रिड्यूस करने के लिए इफ इट इज नॉट टेकिंग एनी स्टेप, और बाद में पता चला कि इंश्योर्ड ने तो कोई स्टेप ही नहीं लिया था लॉस को कम करने के लिए, the company might not give the claim to you. Clear? Okay, moving further. Now let's talk about the next topic of this insurance, which you have to learn is life insurance, marine insurance, and fire insurance. Life insurance, बेटे वो insurance है basically in which you are registering one's life. On this, can you tell me which of the principles will not be applicable on life insurance? Which of the principles will not be applicable on life insurance? Very good. Indemnity is not applicable on life insurance. Yes, indemnity is not applicable on life insurance. One more principle is not applicable on life insurance. Along with the indemnity, one more principle is not applicable on life insurance. Contribution, because you can get as many as policies you want. Okay? Because we cannot, measure the one's life's value. That is why हम indemnities पे applicable नहीं करते. Acha, what we do in the marine insurance? In the marine insurance, we actually do the insurance of hull or ship. That means in the marine insurance policy, there can be the ship or hull insurance first. Secondly, there can be the freight insurance. Freight means जो भाड़ा लगता है, जो किराया लगता है for reaching to the destination. Freight insurance, because sometimes due to perils of the sea, due to any problem, if the marine, there was a loss, so definitely there would be the freight loss also. सामान पहुंचा ही नहीं, freight loss भी हो जाएगा जो कि इतना ज़्यादा लग जाता है. So we get insurance of the freight also sometimes, which is known as the freight insurance. And the third there comes in the marine insurance only. Like one was the ship or hull insurance, second was the marine freight insurance, third is the cargo insurance. सामान की insurance भी होती है जो. That is three all policies comes under the marine insurance policy. And next there comes the fire insurance. Fire insurance, basically we talk about those points, fire insurance, where we simply say that the fire insurance refers to taking the making the loss good in case of the fire if gets up. That comes under the fire insurance. So after all these 7 principles of insurance, of course you have to see to the difference of life insurance, marine insurance, and of course fire insurance. ठीक? अभी 1 or 2 points I'm just telling about the difference which you must have to do, जो आपको of course learn भी होना चाहिए, difference between all these 3. For example, if I talk about indemnity, I've already explained that on life insurance, indemnity principle is not applicable, but on marine and fire insurance, the indemnity principle is applicable. ठीक? Then we talk about the subject matter. In the life insurance, what we are insuring? We are insuring one's life. In marine insurance, we are insuring from the loss which may arise due to perils of sea. And in the fire insurance, the subject matter is a ship or cargo or freight. Because under marine insurance, we have 3 things: the ship or hull insurance, freight insurance, and cargo insurance, right? Then what about the loss measurement? Can we measure the loss in life insurance? Of course, under the life insurance, the loss cannot be measured. Loss को बेटे life insurance में तो measure नहीं किया जा सकता. Under the fire insurance, of course, the loss can be measured. कितना जला है, कितना क्या नुकसान हुआ है. And under the marine insurance also, the loss can be measured, right? What will be the surrender value? Surrender value means if you surrender the scheme, आप बीच में surrender कर देते हो तो क्या मिलता है? बेटे life insurance has a surrender value. अगर आप maturity से पहले policy surrender कर देते हो, बंद कर देते हो, you get some money from the LIC. LIC आपको पैसा देता है. It has the surrender value. ठीक? If we talk about the fire insurance, there is no surrender value. Before maturity, no surrender value will be provided. And if we talk about the insurance, fire और marine दोनों में ही, there is no surrender value at all. कोई भी surrender value उसके अंदर नहीं होती. All right?